Welcome, colorful creators. Today I am demonstrating the No Line Watercoloring technique. I'm using the Beautiful Day stamp set. I'm using the flower image here. And I'm using the Gorgeous Grape, Highland Heather, and Melon Mambo Stampin' Up! Classic stamp pads. And that's to create the flower, and I will use Pear Pizzazz to create the leaf. So the first thing I must do is choose paper. So I have chosen shimmery white cardstock. I have cut it to 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And I am using Sahara sand to ink up my stamp. And I'm going to stamp off onto a scrap sheet once after I've inked. And then for my second stamp or second generation of inking, I am stamping it directly onto my cardstock. So stamp off once on scrap paper, and before you re-ink, stamp on your working paper. So I'll set that aside, and you're going to want to have an area that you can put your blocks into your ink pad here. So I've already inked them up a little bit. You can re-ink this one. Have a little water on it from a previous project. So just acrylic blocks I'm using. These are block A size. Let's see, the Highland Heather, I want to put a little more on there. Here's the green and the Gorgeous Grape. And I'm using the smaller of the two brushes for the Aqua Painters. So as you can see, the water goes from the chamber, which I've just filled up with tap water, and you just untwist, fill it up, and twist it up again. And as you squeeze this barrel, water is released down into the chamber and then comes out here. So there's a little drop of water on my finger. So you're going to, and whatever consistency you want to, you're going to mix the water with the ink and put it on the paper. So I'm going to start with the Highland Heather. I'm going along the outer edge of each of the petals. So by doing this, when I'm done, you will not see the inked image created by the Sahara sand. It'll be just the ink, the 3 ink colors that I'm using to color it all in. So it's fun that it disappears. You're using the image as a guide, and you're making the flower what you want it to be. So you could make the petals a little larger. You could even redraw the petals. As you add the color, things change, making it both fun and sometimes frustrating. In doing this project, I have come out with many different results and never the same result twice. Okay, I'm nearly done. And I may need to re-ink that as I'm using up what is on there. Okay, so I am going to then use my Gorgeous Grape, turning my image here, to go along the edge of the petal to give a definition . And I'm not constantly squeezing the barrel here. There's water that's going to drip down onto the brush from the chamber. And sometimes, like there, I feel like it's too much. So I blot it out on my paper towel. And then I start again. Maybe let that dry. And it's easier to pull the brush away from where you're going, as it's not very easy to brush up. So we'll brush down. So whatever angle is good for you, sometimes you need to turn your work as you're going. Oh, I really love these purples together. They're beautiful. As I work around, other pieces are drying, so this is kind of drying into a layer. And I like that because it kind of looks like a true watercolor, like I came up with the pattern when I'm actually just using the stamp as a guide. But the shading is all me. It is pretty to watch it dry and change as you create. Okay, so now I think what I will do, oops, I missed a little accent piece here, and go down there, get this one. Oh, look at right here. That does not have gorgeous grape on it. Okay, so I'm cleaning my brush again, squeezing water. The water's coming out right onto my paper towel there. Okay, so I'm going to do the leaf first, and I'm going to get on my block a fair bit of water on it. And that's going to be watery leaf. And I'm going to let that dry as I complete the rest of the flower. And then I'll go back and get Pear Pizzazz ink on this side of the block where it's not as watery, and I'll create the veins. So we'll get that to dry, and I'm going to use the Melon Mambo now as an accent. I'm going to do that along the edge. So I'm using the fine tip and going right along, and I'm not adding much water, and I really am using a very light stroke. When it's blending in with water, that's there, and that's a very pretty effect. It's almost like a little channel that goes through. It's kind of cool to watch. Oh, I love that. And I'm going over the edges a little bit because it's a watercolor. Oh, it's fading into the leaf. I don't know that I want that to happen. So what I'm going to do is tear a little piece of the paper towel. And I'm just going to do this. Pick it up with the edge of the towel. I think that's good. I'll be able to go back over with green and redefine it too. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and outline this with the pink. And then I'm going to go back to the Highland Heather and fill in the petals. So I will do that. Now let me finish this. And the center. Okay. Cleaning off the brush again. And I'm going to re-ink the block. And I will start on the left side because this leaf area is still a little wet here. Get some of the ink Mix it with the brush and my water, and I'm using a little more water than I did with the pink. And this is all trial and error. So you might want to ink up several pieces of paper with the flower or perhaps even the butterfly on it, doing the second generation stamp of the Sahara sand, so that you can have many sheets ready to go as you create your own watercolor flower or butterfly. And filling these in so it's a little lighter shading. It's very pretty. And you can get the real definition because this piece is dried a little bit more, and I find more of the gorgeous grape is showing up and mixing. And there we are. That's really lovely. Okay. So I think this is dry enough so that I will try to do the vein on it. And the outline too. It looks like a real leaf there. Let me get the lines. Oh, this is coming up very nicely. It's subtle. Great. Okay, so this is No Line Watercoloring. What I will now do, let's see, I have a piece of paper here. I have a gorgeous grape that I think would look really nice with this card. So this is a simple card. I'm not doing lots of layers. I'm just letting the watercolor image be the star of the show. So once it's dry, I will use snail to adhere it. And I will also likely add some pearls to the center. This is another card that I did. And this has more feathering between. Looks like I put a little wink of Stella on top of it too, which is always fun. But I did add the pearls in the center, which is very pretty. This one is more of a watercolor look. I used more water when I was laying it down, and I took more time to let it dry in between. So you're getting more of the watery breaks here and just a lighter shading. On this one, I used less water so that it was more inky and more blotchy. But I like that look too. It looks more like an autumn flower to me. And this one I used shorter strokes. So same as the water, and then I went back after it dried and I added shorter strokes to it. So you can use your imagination and create beautiful cards for your friends and family. And I hope to see you share some of your work online with me. Thank you so much for watching my demonstration of No Line Watercoloring. Have a great day.